Let's move on to the next section. What's new on the topic?
All right. Now we just pivoting to the next topic is uh MAGA's growing influence in hip hop and black diaspora. As you guys probably know, the Hot 97 episode or radio station with Ebro was canceled. And there's a lot of chatter online that the reason it was canceled was because of its progressive and anti-establishment voices and so on and so forth. And from corporate and political pressure, right? They got the show canceled. Now that's what's widely circulated and speculated. It's not confirmed, but that's what the internet is saying, right? And it, Ebro, I guess this isn't the only time that MAGA has or MAGA has influenced people because you guys remember Kanye West with his MAGA support uh
Oh, when he
with,
tap
with
dancing and coon, when he was tap dancing and
tap
cooning
dancing and
everywhere.
owning
Yeah.
and Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian that casts himself as a conservative defending authentic hip hop and blame feminization of rap and on making strong black men comfortable for white listeners um and a lot of people like I guess there are some reasons why that could happen because I do think like there's legitimate reason why some of us might want to side with conservatives, but that is, you know,
What you mean
happening.
side with conservatives? Break it down.
Sometimes they
So what I mean by that is that, for instance, like MAGA ideology emphasizes nationalism, hierarchy, machismo, this and black men, for instance, who have felt that the liberals have weakened masculinity and disenfranchised us.
I
That can be
believe
a
that.
thorn.
I believe that. I believe the liberals did weaken
In what
black
ways?
masculinity. Do I got to spell it out, or do I got to give you a crayon box?
no, I'm saying,
Go,
I
go.
agree. I agree. They did weaken masculinity. I agree with that
Mm-hmm.
part.
But is it necessary for us to align with MAGA if 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 hip hop was always been a form of critique, like a social critique, and they've offered social critique, and they've critiqued white liberals and so on and so forth, right? So why it doesn't make sense? The critique is there. It doesn't make sense to go far right.
Let me tell you this.
Just to,
I don't side with MAGA at all. Okay. Let
okay,
me say that. And again, my frustration, I can't escape. It's like a nightmare. Why, if we say they're guests in our house, right? What do we mean by guests in our house when they done hijacked it? They're the biggest colonizers, man, of all time, bro. If you open up the dictionary and put colonizers, it's going to be some white guy there, okay? They colonize everything they touch. Anything that we have for ourselves, that we invented it, right? Going back again, they say, oh, how are we going to mentally take this from under their feet and cause and make the rules and regulations in something that they made? It's the biggest form of being conquered. When are the hell we gonna wake up? It should not be to the point where we discuss hip hop and we got to worry about the powers that be or these people rather not they sanction what's right and what's wrong in hip hop, what to say and what not to say in hip hop. It kills me. It burns my
but
soul.
we do have to because they own the media. They
Oh
own
my
the
God.
corporate
Hip hop
with
didn't
that.
start with yeah, but hip hop didn't start with media. It started out in the
No,
park. It
but
was
they control the
ours.
narrative.
We
The
should have kept it
corporate,
ours. We should have kept it ours, man. I think the
they
minute
don't
money
own it.
money come money falls into play, people start selling out, and they start selling out their own people.
And
And I
that's the
can't.
key.
These people should be brought to court. Whoever sold out hip hop, whoever did that, should be brought to court and kicked out of the culture.
And that's 100% because that's why. Because it's like without owning corporate ownership, and media ownership, corporations and media can decide
Yeah, how they
what
gonna?
truth is
That's what I'm
amplified
saying.
and which one is erased.
That's what I'm saying.
What
How are they
matters?
gonna dictate something we created?
But the game of it, the game of simple. When you're buying, like when it comes to the intellectual property as such, right? When hip hop is getting started out, these kids is coming out producing this. You see what I mean? The people that's actually making the money off it weren't kids. You see what I mean? But the people innovating it were the kids at the time. So naturally they took advantage of these kids. You see what I'm saying? So when it come down to the record labels, they the one that actually own the actual intellectual rights, and they turn that into the actual money. That you know what I mean? We getting paid. They getting paid pennies off the dollar. You know what I mean? So you looking at this, they looking at the nice cars and assuming that this person is making the money. Nah, they just got a fraction of it, even though they did the work. So it's the game of it. They was able to do the intellect, the legal side of it, the paperwork. That's how this country was gotten. You know what I mean? The ability to write treaties. You see what I'm saying? And that's
You
the
know,
whole game of it.
you don't think there's like very predatory on their behalf? Like
Of course.
if we go to every top tier channel to hip hop, right? In our culture, there's a small hat or somebody owning that platform. And I just think it's God, man. Mm. Oh, goodness.
And then think about this too, though. Even on another level, y'all know about K-pop, right?
No.
All right, this is Korea.
Hip hop.
Yeah, it's like a whole genre of music, right? Just go listen. If you listen and check it out, you'll find out that's really our music. They got a whole thing of music that's over there, and they getting paid big money over there. This worldwide
I'm
K-pop. Check it out.
I'm interested in I'm interested to know, does the people who have their foot on hip hop, do they have it over there? Like, can they do something, or are they limited to what they do, say, and how they present their brand? Are they limited to that? Do the powers that be over here have control over that? That's very interesting. Like Africa got their own version of what hip hop is, right? Is someone telling them what not to say or what to say or
Well,
else?
I
I
think
think
it's
we're the only ones that's gone through it. And
no. I think,
we're the inventors of it, and we get treated the worst.
but I think to be fair, that type of we're living in an authoritarian age, right? And Trump, and not to be too political, right? But Trump and his ilk have organized it in a way that if you criticize anything, if you dissent in any way, they will destroy you. So from a corporate standpoint, before we had a little bit more autonomy in saying what we wanted to say, but now it's to the point where it's not so much that they don't want you to say it and they don't want you to speak the truth, but if they do allow you to do it, then the US government will sue you for 10 billion and destroy your company. So naturally, so for instance, Funk Master Flex, I'm sorry, there was for Ebro, right? The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu criticized Ebro, right? And that and you know what the Trump administration, you got to support Israel and Jews, and if you don't, you're anti-Semitic, right? So that naturally is a red flag for someone from a political or corporate standpoint. It's like, okay, you're picking on a person who has the power or has the influence to get us shut down. So it's like it's a thing. It's like, okay, are we gonna allow our whole company to get shut down, to lose all of our money, and therefore destroy many people's lives, or are we gonna get rid of you?
Yeah, I think here's my thing. If whatever side or belief you choose to speak on, whether whatever you're fighting for in your life, I think it's fair from a respectful standpoint. I think it's fair to allow both parties to speak. When you start shutting down that freedom of speech, right?
That's age.
Then it's unjust. That's unjust.
It is unjust, but it's the reality of the world right now. They have the Trump and his ilk has the Supreme Court. They have the Department of Justice. They have every single thing, and the MAGA is unfortunately the main influencer right now. What if MAGA goes against what you? I hate to say it, but if they go against what you say, and it riles them out, they have the power on their side to get you shut down if they put enough, whether it's right or wrong.
Somebody said that Drake was MAGA. I mean, that's what Ebro said, that he's far right. But I don't know that to be true. Jam,
No, it was
Jam,
that's true. Ebro tweeted Drake is right wing, and
I'm not
so
surprised.
Andre.
I'm not surprised. Jam, you said something earlier. You said that you was happy that Ebro got kicked to the curb. Why is that?
It wasn't for the political reasons, because I don't really know anything about the political stuff. But I think that that it's kind of time for a change, you know. And Ebro didn't really have a good reputation in the game because he supposedly he blacklisted a lot of people. So yeah, but I don't really know much about that because I'm not a New Yorker and I don't listen to Hot 97. I'm just going by what people say. But I think things need to change on like all fronts. Why should one guy, you know what I'm saying, be on a radio station for 20 years? You know what I mean? That's too long. It's too long.
So you're saying the Roosters came back to roost for him due to his what word can I say? Due to his the way he treated the game and the artist. The Roosters came back to roost.
Yeah, because he was like the program director.
Mm.
And they like a lot of New Yorkers say that when he started playing like a lot of Southern music and stuff, he kind of stopped playing New York music. So it changed. It influenced the sound of New York. That's why when you go to New York and you hear New York rappers, they don't sound New York anymore. They sound like they from the South. A lot of people blame Ebro for that. I don't know how true that is,
Yeah.
but it sounds like something that could happen.
Mm. I heard speculations. I don't know if it's true or not that Joe Buttons they offered him a big bag. Charlemagne they offered him a bag. Some bizarre crazy numbers. And we know if they offer somebody 50
A
million
lot of money.
or 100 million, they're gonna triple that. They're gonna, and like Gov said, offer advertisements. You know what I'm saying? So Gov, give us your input on what happened to Ebro. Was they right? Was they wrong? Did they get it right? Was it needed? Like Jam said, was he I'm not saying what you say he was a poison to the culture, but like Jam alluded to, it was time for a new change.
Yeah, I see a lot of the people are talking about are saying that lately his bias toward quote unquote old school hip hop could have been a thing that kind of puts him down or put him, like, yeah, it's time. But I don't know. I kind of remember similar things going on back in the day with radio personalities when I used to listen to the radio when they finally had a long time guy. It's like that drama that comes with it. And I don't know, I don't really believe the MAGA side of it per se because I've always thought of radio being not on that side anyway. You see what I mean? Like their whole, like you think like all the morning shows, like listening to, like say, Kiss and all them other shows, other channels. I never heard them over there coming out with Republican talking points. They never really did that. So I wouldn't think that
Yeah.
all of a sudden now, why would they all of a sudden be offended? Like, ooh, you're not one of us. But you know
No,
what I
That's
mean?
a great
well,
point.
he critiqued Palestine.
Oh, the Palestine aspect of it.
He supported Palestine, and he's had some progressive views. So it may not necessarily be so much that they are directly. Yes, we have had some artists, Kanye West and Nicki Minaj, who have taken conservative talking points, right? But this one is kind of more like indirect fire. You critique or dissenting and you supported Palestine. And right now that's a no-no. You see what I'm saying? And so by the MAGA base being as powerful as it is, they can indirectly apply pressure to artists and the power that the executive offer has right now. A lot of companies ain't trying to take that heat. Like you say something like that, and then you get them riled up, they'll come after you, get you fired. You'll lose your job, your career, everything. Now, I don't think it's right. But and I think, let me say this one thing. I think all of us, for rather than looking so much at what he's done for the culture, or I think sometimes we got to look at the bigger picture, is that our freedom of speech is gone. It's threatened. The fact that you can't make a critique, politically, without losing your job. What world do we live in? Not saying that we are ever completely free, but what world do we live in?
Yeah,
Before,
go on.
I said before we had a little bit more leeway. Of course, if you went too far, they'd shut you down. But we had a lot more leeway before, and then this Mr. Orange came in and just
See, I think
Yeah, but here's a double standard. Go.
because I kind of wonder about that like before then, because you're thinking like back in the past, they didn't tell you which one they wanted to be for or who they would vote for. You see what I mean? They would just go ahead and act like they were neutral, more or less. So now it's like publicly, you got to state one side. You know what I mean? If you're not, then you're going to pretty much catch a lot of that flack. But then again, they pretty much say, look, your job isn't to have any type of political input publicly at all. Your job is just to spin records. You know what I mean? So I guess when he did that, that's when that gets the heat. That's when they get the lightning rod on. But from the company,
Yeah. It depends on. Here's again. It depends on the contract and what you read over and what you signed up for. I think that if this was the case, then if it was that strong, he felt that strong about it, he shouldn't have signed the contract. We all agree to that, right? Because you got
but he
people like
probably signed a contract a lot earlier than what it is now.
nah, because these are
Trump just got in office. He didn't sign it this year.
no. What I'm saying is, new people came into a little bit that I heard. New people came into ownership of Hot 97. But what I'm saying is, whether there was a new regime coming in to take over or not, you have a contract to be signed, and you can agree to disagree to put your John Hancock on there. So if
Right.
they say, look, you are not to talk about this person, this party, that belief, blah 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 blah, and you felt strongly about it, don't sign. You have independency. Right now, he's independent, right? That's what he's claiming. I'm independent now. If you felt that strong, then you build independent platforms like this. You get what I'm saying? But if you know well good enough what you signed up for, and now you're going to get upset because they warned you and kicked you to the curb, I think that's stupid on his behalf.
keep this in mind though. You know how these companies do. They'll hire you. And then later on, it's like, oh, brand new memo. By the way, we got a new rule
Yep.
change. So,
There's a new handbook,
right, brand
new
new handbook
contract.
coming in. So that also could play in there too, where, he was under a different regime when he signed, and they later on give him a whole new set of rules. By the way, you can't do this, gotta say that, gotta do the other. Because think about the same thing just going on with The View at the same time. Remember? Like this year, when now that Trump is in office and he started suing ABC or something like that. So
I
then
heard of
they
something
had
like that.
and then
Yeah.
they had to so then one of them would make their comments like they would always make. And they're like, we gotta read this legal thing here just in case. So we not trying to catch the lawsuit. So that's the game that's going on right now. And you can see how Whoopi Goldberg getting upset about that. Like, I don't have to say this, but the producers and all the rest understand the money that's on the line. So that's why they gotta make somebody else read that. You know what I mean? So it's the game that they
Unfortunately.
play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well,
But it's
hopefully.
crazy because they don't really understand, people who don't understand hip hop, and I'm not a hip hop connoisseur, but I do understand that hip hop originally was it was a truth telling tool. We spoke truth to power, and many of the older groups and so on and so forth. So
Hip hop been died, bro.
always political. So it's like for
Hip
you
hop
to,
been died. Hip hop
yeah,
been
but it's still, we still have Kendrick Lamar's and J. Cole.
hip hop been died a long time ago. What you saying now is a ghost in front of you. You
Oh,
can walk, you can see it, but you're gonna walk right through it. Hip
but
hop been
still,
died. Only people who's keeping hip hop alive, those who agree and believe in real hip hop and that's underground and independent. Other than that, if you're looking for hip hop truth, truth to power in hip hop and mainstream, you ain't gonna find it. It been died. Simple as that. Hip hop is definitely
in the mainstream. Yeah,
it's dead.
100% in the mainstream.
Exactly. You want to find truth to power in hip hop, go to the underground where they don't give a damn. They're not politically tied to anything.
Right.
They have their own system, their own way of speaking the truth, and they're gonna speak truth to power. And no one's gonna shut them down or stop them.
You can't.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. That's the way it's supposed
You know what I'm
to be.
saying? But once you stick
let me argue this. They still, even though they might be independent, would you guys agree that on YouTube, right, or Bandcamp, if you go too far and you have MAGA get upset with you, they can get your account blocked.
Well, let me make this
disclaimer.
Yeah, let me make this disclaimer. I guess I said podcast. We YouTube is our friend and colleague. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Y'all ready?
These just opinions, everybody. This is just opinions. If anybody else wants to speak on it, shout out to Hot 97. Hopefully they'll be doing bigger and better things. I do agree with Jam on this. It was time for a new change. And I don't know too much about what Ebro was doing, or him or Peter I don't know too much about them, but you know they did have a great show for a little bit that I tuned into. But if it was time for a change, besides the political rhetoric, if it was time for a change and new faces and moving forward, hopefully it's for the better. And shout out to Ebro and them, because I heard that they got their own YouTube station going on, and maybe they can, you know, have more leeway and yard to speak their truth to power. So shout out.
Right, talk that talk. They can talk that talk on YouTube, but not too much.
Not too much. Guess I said we are a partnership with YouTube and they are friends. It's too much hassle, man, to you know, put up a new a new YouTube account and all that type of stuff. I ain't got time to be shut down and shadow banned, man. It's just our opinion.
Yeah, I miss the old days when YouTube was the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
That's when it was at its best.
At its best. Rated R.
Yeah.
Now rated R stand for other than that. Does anyone else want to speak on this matter? Or if not, we can go to the top 10 albums and wrap this up.
I thought they got people for the new morning show. Did y'all see that?
No, I haven't. I haven't been paying attention to it. Last thing I heard of was potential candidates, and I think Folk Flex was supposed to fill in for a day. Because that was the argument. Because Ebro was like, "You took our show from under our noses," you know, blah blah. That little conflict, but he like, "Nah, it was just for a day, man. What you talking about?" You know what I'm saying? I'm just feeling. I just want to DJ. Yeah, he like, I just want to DJ and cut records, man. I don't care about none of that other stuff. You know. All right, let's move on to top. We good on this, fellas? Panel?
Yeah.
Ty, everybody we good?
Yeah, we good.
I'm good.
Okay, what's the next one?
No.
The volcano from an Iceland, they come to take over the rap game like the white man. Hiller than Hitler, photobomb at Yahoo, read it on missile. Watch me do it like the Pointer Sisters. Slip arsenic in your corn liquor. Two bigger L's than the Aubrey nigga. From Pappy Mason to Pastor Mason, the church is vacant. A preacher with Bobby trapped in the basement. I'm laughing, just imagine the Sleepy Beauty had herpes.